The South China Sea, rich in resources and strategic value, is once again the stage for a high-stakes confrontation. Recent events have transformed the long-standing dispute between the Philippines and China into a direct and perilous standoff. At the heart of this conflict is a test of sovereignty, international law, and the future balance of power in Asia. China, wielding immense military might, claims nearly the entire sea, claims dismissed by international courts. The Philippines, under President Marcos Jr., has shifted to active resistance, leading to more frequent and dangerous encounters at sea. As alliances are tested and naval forces mobilize, the world watches. Is a new naval power rising in Asia, and what does it mean for the region's fragile peace? On August 11, 2025, near Scarborough Shoal, a routine Philippine supply mission erupted into chaos. The BRP Suluan, escorting fishermen, was aggressively pursued by Chinese vessels. A Chinese Navy warship's reckless maneuver caused a collision with its own Coast Guard ship. Video footage captured the dramatic moment, highlighting the dangers of China's increasingly aggressive tactics. The Philippine crew offered assistance to the damaged Chinese vessel, but were ignored. China's official narrative denied the collision, instead claiming it lawfully expelled Philippine vessels. This incident exposed the risks of China's intimidation strategy, not just for the Philippines, but for its own forces. The stakes are clear. These confrontations could easily spiral out of control, with devastating consequences. China's strategy in the South China Sea has escalated dramatically, shifting from routine Coast Guard patrols to direct and increasingly assertive naval confrontation. What was once a contest of presence and intimidation has now become a high-stakes game of military brinkmanship, with both sides testing each other's resolve in contested waters. In May 2025, Chinese Navy frigates aggressively intercepted a Philippine corvette near Scarborough Shoal, a clear sign of militarization. The encounter was not just a show of force, but a message. China is willing to escalate, even at the risk of direct confrontation. The tension in these waters is now palpable, with every maneuver watched closely by both sides. This shift coincided with the largest ever U.S.-Philippines military exercises, suggesting a direct response to deepening alliances. The presence of American forces in the region has emboldened the Philippines, but it has also provoked a sharper reaction from Beijing, fueling a dangerous cycle of action and counteraction. By deploying warships, China signals its willingness to use military force, raising the risk of miscalculation. The line between peacetime operations and open conflict is growing thinner, as both navies operate in close proximity, often just moments away from a potential clash. The era of ambiguous white hull enforcement is over. Now every encounter carries the potential for open conflict. The transition from Coast Guard to Navy marks a fundamental change in the nature of these confrontations, making the stakes higher than ever before. For Philippine commanders, the threat is no longer just harassment. It's the real possibility of facing one of the world's most powerful navies. Every decision on the bridge could have life-or-death consequences, and the pressure is mounting with each new incident. The South China Sea has never been more dangerous. The risk of a misstep, a misunderstanding, or a single miscalculation could ignite a conflict with global repercussions. The rules of engagement have changed, and so has the risk. In these contested waters, every move is scrutinized, every signal matters, and the world is watching to see what happens next. In response to China's aggression, the Philippines is rapidly modernizing its navy. Once reliant on outdated second-hand ships, Manila is now investing in modern frigates, corvettes, patrol vessels, and advanced surveillance systems. New assets like the BRP Jose Rizal and BRP Antonio Luna mark a leap in capability. U.S. support is crucial. New maintenance facilities on Palawan will keep Philippine ships on patrol longer and closer to contested waters. This transformation is not about matching China ship for ship, but about building a credible deterrent and defending sovereign waters. Each new vessel and radar station strengthens the Philippines' maritime defense. The message to Beijing is clear. The Philippines is no longer a passive observer. It is determined to defend its maritime domain. Military upgrades alone aren't enough. The Philippines is weaving a robust web of alliances, recognizing that strength today is as much about partnerships as it is about hardware. In a region marked by shifting power dynamics, Manila is determined to build a network that can deter threats and amplify its voice on the world stage. The revitalized Mutual Defense Treaty with the U.S. is the cornerstone of this strategy, now reinforced by expanded base access, more frequent joint exercises, and a renewed commitment to mutual support. American presence in the region sends a clear signal that the Philippines is not isolated. Manila is also forging new partnerships, joint drills with India, deeper ties with Japan, and a growing web of defense dialogues that extend beyond traditional allies. Closer cooperation with Australia brings new training opportunities and shared maritime patrols, further strengthening the region's security fabric. These alliances bring not just training, but also advanced technology, intelligence sharing, and logistical support, critical elements that boost the Philippines' maritime security and readiness in the face of evolving challenges. By internationalizing the dispute, Manila ensures China's actions are a global concern, not just a bilateral issue. This approach draws in the attention and support of the international community, making it harder for Beijing to act unchecked. ASEAN's unity is fragile, but the Philippines' assertiveness is encouraging others like Vietnam to take a stand. Regional solidarity, though difficult, is slowly gaining momentum as more countries recognize the stakes. This growing network of partnerships is Manila's strategic shield, creating a collective deterrent that is far stronger than any single nation could muster alone. Each joint patrol, every signed agreement, and every diplomatic protest increases pressure on Beijing to respect international law and reconsider its aggressive tactics. The Philippines is no longer standing alone. With allies at its side and a web of support, Manila is charting a new course, one defined by resilience, cooperation, and a shared vision for a stable, rules-based order in the region. At the heart of the conflict lies a fierce struggle for sovereignty over the South China Sea, a region rich in resources and strategic value. This vast expanse of water is not just a shipping route, it's a lifeline for millions, and a flashpoint for competing national interests. China's sweeping nine-dash-line claim, rooted in so-called historical rights, directly clashes with international law and the 2016 Hague Tribunal ruling, which sided with the Philippines. The tribunal found no legal basis for China's expansive claims, but Beijing has rejected the verdict, intensifying tensions in the region. Scarborough Shoal, just 124 nautical miles from Luzon, is more than a cluster of rocks. It's a vital fishing ground that sustains local communities and a strategic outpost that could tip the balance of power in the South China Sea. Control of the shoal would give China a key foothold, enhancing its power projection across the region and allowing it to monitor and potentially restrict access to crucial sea lanes. Since 2012, China has blocked Filipino fishermen from accessing these waters, maintaining de facto control through a constant presence of Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels, often leading to tense standoffs at sea. For the Philippines, defending Scarborough is about more than territory. It's about national identity, the livelihoods of its people, and upholding the rule of international law in the face of overwhelming pressure. President Marcos Jr. has responded by insisting on a constant Philippine presence, deploying Navy and Coast Guard ships to escort fishermen and openly challenging China's blockade, signaling a renewed commitment to defend the nation's rights. Today, the shoal stands as a powerful symbol of Philippine resolve, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who refuse to yield their seas, their livelihoods, or their sovereignty. The naval imbalance between China and the Philippines is stark. China's navy is the world's largest, with carriers, destroyers, and submarines. The Philippine Navy, though modernizing, remains small and focused on coastal defense. China's multi-layered approach, Navy, Coast Guard, and maritime militia, gives it overwhelming options to escalate. The Philippines lacks comparable numbers or firepower, but it's not aiming for a head-on fight. Instead, it uses asymmetric tactics, persistent patrols, international exposure, and alliances to raise the cost of Chinese aggression. The goal is to make occupation untenable, not to win a naval battle. By leveraging home advantage and global support, the Philippines turns its weakness into resilience. It's David's sling and stone against Goliath's sword. The contest is about resolve, not just hardware. The Philippines is transforming from a quiet claimant to an assertive regional player. President Marcos Jr.'s strategy, transparency, and presence. By publicizing Chinese aggression, Manila wins the narrative war. Philippine Navy and Coast Guard vessels now push back, conducting resupply missions and escorting fishermen despite Chinese blockades. This calculated defiance forces China to react, creating friction and exposing its tactics. Strengthened alliances, especially with the U.S., provide a security umbrella and embolden Filipino commanders. The Philippines isn't provoking conflict, it's deterring it, disrupting China's long-term strategy. By modernizing, standing firm, and rallying support, the Philippines has become the central actor resisting Chinese expansion. A smaller nation, armed with law and alliances, is making its voice heard across the waves. The Philippines is not a naval superpower, but its rise is reshaping Southeast Asia's security landscape. Through modernization, alliances, and assertive transparency, Manila has become a credible counterweight to China. Its strategy raises the costs of aggression and provides a model for other small states facing pressure. The outcome of this standoff could define the future of peace and order in Asia. If the Philippines succeeds, it will prove that international law can protect smaller nations. If it fails, it risks emboldening might-makes-right tactics across the region. The Philippines' strength lies in its resolve and strategic acumen, not just its ships. The assertive archipelago is now a force to be reckoned with. Its stand will echo for years to come.